right, so the ultimate goal is that we eventually are going to have to leave Earth. So we only have roughly 500 million years left to go, because even though the sun is going to begin to officially die in 4.5 billion years, the sun is going to start to become unstable in about 500 million years. So that means that by that time we will have needed to evacuate Earth, and we need to be colonizing other planets. So what kind of planets are we looking for? So the first thing we want to look for is a single star. We want to be looking for a single star that has planets that are in orbit around it, because multiple stars cause multiple gravities, which cause multiple orbits. So the orbit is going to be different, and that is going to affect climate. It has to be the right size star. So ultimately, we would really like to have a yellow star, but a red star would be okay if we were close enough to it. Okay, then the planet that we want to colonize has to be the right distance. If it's too close, it's going to be too hot. If it's too far away, it's going to be too cold. The planet that we're going to colonize has to be the right size. So if it's too small, it's not going to have enough gravity to hold down an atmosphere. So it's going to have a very thin atmosphere. If the planet is too big, then it's going to have too much of an atmosphere, and we don't want that to happen either. We want this planet to have a relatively large moon in comparison to the size of the planet, and that helps to keep the planet's tilt from changing too much. So as the tilt of a planet changes, that changes the climate. And again, we just don't want the climate to change that much. We want to have the presence of a large planet like Jupiter to help gobble up rogue asteroids that are flying around in our solar system. Then we want to have liquid oceans. So we don't want it to be a desert, and we also don't want it to be a frozen wasteland. We need to have an oxygen atmosphere. So if it's got an oxygen atmosphere, that means it's got green plants on it. So what are some candidates for possible places in our solar system that could have life? Mars, where it would be under the ground, and it would be frozen water that has been thawed out because it's very close to a heat source. Also, the water that is underneath the solid ice sheets that are on Europa, that water underneath it is liquid. And then there could be life on Titan, but it would be based on methane, so it'd be some kind of life that we're unfamiliar with. Do not worry about the Drake equation. So that is not going to be on the exam. However, I do want you to know what would be the best way to contact life. And that would be by using radio waves. So we would not want to send out rocket ships to every planet in the galaxy, because it would cost too much to build the rocket ships, and it would also take too long for the rocket ship to get there. Whereas if we use radio waves, the radio waves travel in all directions, and they all travel at the speed of light. So it'd be much faster. And then, what would we say? Well, that's the Arecibo message, and I'm not going to ask you any questions about it on the exam. All right. So that is your review for the Unit 4 lecture exam. And so again, remember to bring with you your 3-inch by 5-inch note card. that you can write anything you want on the front and the back, and then I would provide for you any graphs or any charts or any formulas that you might need for the exam. Okay, so good luck, and I will see you in class for the exam.